Hey guys, WorldKingKanji here once again, and I know it's been a while since I've done this kind of discussion video, but this was something I'd written, and I realized it would be so much funnier if I actually had somebody with me.
I should preface this by saying he's true to his word. He's yet to tell me anything about what this kind of encumbrances. Like I have no idea.
Yeah, so I mean, I've explained to you that basically what I've done is I've written up like a short mini arc, sort of like a filler arc, like we got with the Patafu arc in Dragon Ball Super with Copy Vegeta and those other purple pals. But
Hmm.
this is just kind of something I did. If Toei was sort of like, oh, okay, we really want to make more Dragon Ball, but we really got to wait for Toriyama, so they could just sort of go, oh, okay, well that guy on YouTube gave us a funny idea, so why don't we just do that? But and the
Oh,
translators are going
wouldn't that
wild.
be? Wouldn't that be the dream though? I mean, not like you wouldn't even. It would be kind of a bummer not to get paid for it, but like if you just see this pop up, one, you might be like elated, and then at the same time, after all of that's worn off, you'd be like, who do I call?
Yeah,
to...
they didn't even credit me. And if you'd like to head over to www.worldkingkanji.com, you can check out any merchandise, prints, keyrings, and anything else I might have for sale on there. Link is in the description section below. Hope you enjoy the video. So, this script is called Dragon Ball The Demon Entrapment Arc. Now, that
Okay.
sounds kind of like Ghostbusters at the beginning, and I'd like to reassure you that as it currently stands, it probably is going to go down that route.
Okay.
But it's something interesting anyway. So the idea is that it would actually kind of start out with Goten and Trunks. They're going to go and visit Gohan's house. Goten and Trunks are still kids, obviously, at this point, so they're as they are at the end of Super.
As they are and how they will always be. They're never growing up.
No, the end of Z is going to be rewritten. They'll still be kids.
Yes.
But Goten and Trunks are visiting Gohan's house. Gohan he's out. He's at a meeting. So Goten and Trunks try and pass the time waiting for him to return by having a quick little spar. Goten, in typical Goten fashion, fires off a blast, and Trunks dodges it in his cocky way, and it accidentally blasts Gohan's library inside of his house. And so the boys, like, they absolutely cack themselves, and they sort of like, okay, what do we do? What do we do? What do we do? And they're like, shaking in their boots and stuff, and they're sort of like, you know what? The only way we can get around this, let's go and get the Dragon Radar and quickly get the Dragon Balls and restore Gohan's library and all the books. That's the only way that it's going to be able to move on from this. We just got to do that because, of course,
I just want to come in here real quick and this seems absolutely perfectly logical with everything that we've seen in Dragon Ball Super and everything pretty much since End of Z. Like they're using the Dragon Balls to solve like the most ridiculous common problems.
this is it.
And it's like and it makes you remember. It's like remember like when we had to traverse the entire world and it would take an entire arc to get the Dragon Balls.
They go to
and
different
now, like,
galaxies to go to Namek to use their Dragon Balls because it was for such an important purpose, and now they're just doing it to restore some books.
Perfectly logical. I'm totally 100% on board. I'm sorry for the interruption.
No, it's fine. That's what you're here for. So, as simple as it is, I've literally, from that line to the next line, this is what Dragon Ball's written like these days, but from that line to the
Yes.
next line, it literally says, they gather the Dragon Balls and summon Shenron.
It's like it's 2 minutes of an entire mini arc.
Yeah, and then, okay, so, like, Trunks realizes that there's a chance he uses his brain, so Trunks' big brain time. He realizes that there's a chance that some of the books that they destroyed might not all of them are Gohan's. They might be borrowed from a library. They might be, like, from old family heirlooms that they won't be able to get back. So Trunks decides that the best wish would be to restore all books in the world to mint condition. And and they use the second wish to restore Gohan's house. Because, of course, Trunks is there thinking, right, okay, I'm in trouble as it stands. If I repair every book in the world, they can't punish me for that, surely.
Yes.
Goten just goes along with it because it's Goten.
Hmm.
Yeah, but anyway, thinking all is well, the boys fly back home thinking that'd be the end of that. And if anything, Gohan would be happy that his older books are now good as new. And so now we get a scene jump and we see Baba's palace, and the Ghost Usher is astounded because all of their old book collection is now mint condition. And he's like, oh my god, and he goes and fetches Baba to come and have a look. She floats in on a crystal ball, and they realize that a few of their books are actually missing. And Baba uses a crystal ball and remembers that she might have actually lent a few of them out to some people long ago. Now we get another scene change. Scene changes to an old building, which is mostly empty. It's kind of worn down, kind of looks old. And
Okay.
but then there's a man walking around with a walking stick, and he's kind of slowly sort of tapping it on the ground, kind of reminiscent to how we saw Whis introduced in Dragon Ball Super's, Dragon Ball Z, I should say, actually, because Battle of
Gods.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But anyway, he's walking amongst a load of old books, and suddenly his walking stick touches one. He stops. He picks up the book and it flicks open, and it reveals the title of the book is The Idiot's Guide to the Demon Gate. And then, because of course it's got to be slightly humorous, but then, so it's actually revealed that there's this old man, and his old man is actually Suru Senin. He's aged a little bit slightly, and he looks at this book that's on the floor, and he recalls borrowing it, but he doesn't realize how it realize how it ended up being so mint now. So he's like, oh, I couldn't tell what this was before. It was just a lump of paper on the floor. But now, got that new book smell back and everything. And basically, he recalls borrowing the book when he was trying to figure out how to seal away Demon King Piccolo Daimao when he was fighting him with Master Roshi once upon a time. See, that was a nice throwback. There's a nice throwback to Dragon Ball. And
as you have to do from time to time to remind everyone that it still exists.
Yeah, it's kind of like, see guys, I watched this. I know what was going on. But within this book, Suru Senin learns how to reopen the Demon Gate. The idea with this was because originally he was trying to use it to, he was trying to read this book to counteract and defeat Demon King Piccolo. Now, Suru Senin would have been aware of Baba because, of course, Suru Senin was working with Master Roshi at the time. So he, back then, would have probably just spoken to Roshi, and Roshi been like, yeah, my sister floats on a ball. She's got a load of books. Don't know how old she is. Don't know. Was Baba, did she get smaller as she aged, or was she always that small?
I don't imagine that she was always that small, but I guess it is kind of like a, I guess it would be kind of a, you get smaller as you age joke.
Anyway, thoughts for another time.
Yeah.
that's another video.
Yes.
But anyway, he's obviously still riddled with hate for Roshi and his students, and the Crane Hermit throws away his morals and summons the Demon Gate to open. The demons begin to flood the earth and wreaking havoc where they see fit, and it doesn't take long, obviously, before Goku and all of his friends appear to send these demons back to the demon realm. So, any questions at this point?
No, I get where you're going.
So, pretty basic plot, but the idea was kind of, it's nice, we're checking up on some old characters at the moment, sort of referencing some Dragon Ball stuff, and then some new stuff where the boys are just kind of acting like themselves. I'm trying to keep it as non-fan fiction-y as possible. I'm just trying to roll with it, if you know what I mean, but it's very hard because, of course, you come to a certain point in anything you're going to say, if it's original, it's going to sound like fan fiction, so regardless. Anyway, consequently, with the gate open, the demons appear to respawn at the gate when they've been defeated. So, clueless and starting to become outnumbered, the warriors begin to get tired. So, Goku, all of his friends, they're all fighting off these demons. The demons aren't that strong. Like, they're not. They're just in great numbers. And I'm sort of visualizing the same sort of image that we were given in Dragon Ball when King Piccolo was being described to open the demon gate himself, the demon realm. And he, unleashed all of his demons on the world. So, obviously, you and I know that later on they started to use those designs as the characters that King Piccolo spat up with his Poco Pen technique, where it's sort of like, spawn them or whatever. But you have to kind of imagine, because it's been referenced as the Poco Pen is a demonic technique. So it's that's why his offspring don't look like Namekians, they're demons. That's why they look like that, apparently. So apparently that's just the way that most demons look in Dragon Ball. So that's what I'm going with anyway. It's so hard. There's multiple canons and everything, and it's very hard to keep it straight. Especially
it's, at this point, it's kind of whatever it is that you want it to be.
It's so difficult. I mean, what we're over probably about 500 episodes deep, 600 episodes deep into Dragon Ball. There's been a lot of changes. But anyway.
Yeah.
So, of course, now we get a really cool moment where Piccolo appears and he looks down on all the demons wreaking havoc, and he just sort of appears in front of them. They all stop, and he just raises his hand and commands them all to stop. The demons don't listen, claiming he's not the true king anymore. So of course, like, you know, that's kind of the way that like that turns on its head, because of course he was never the demon king, this version of Piccolo. That was always his dad. So but anyway, I thought that would be quite a cool little moment.
Like his dad also him? Like...
Yeah, his dad himself. He him.
Yeah.
He him dad. He his dad. His dad him. I don't know.
Yeah, it gets a little bit much when you start really putting it together, right?
It's an Ouroboros. It's like, I'm my own father, so, you know. But anyway, so Piccolo asks and wishes to learn who the new king is, asking if it's Dabura, and then the demons laugh. There you go, there's another reference. But eventually, Suru Senin appears in aid of the new demon king, and Piccolo recognizes the demon king from his father's experiences. So I assume, because it's kind of implied a lot throughout the series, that Piccolo, whilst he's like the offspring of his dad, of him, his dad, of his dad, him, whatever, he should actually, in many ways, remember a lot of his father's experiences, because he recognizes the mafuba, the evil containment wave at the 23rd tournament. But of course, at this point, Piccolo's only 3 years old. He's matured very quickly, but he's only 3 years old. So it would be unfeasible to believe that he's encountered the mafuba in those 3 years. So you have to assume that he knows his dad's memories. But anyway, the demons all kneel, and the new demon king waltzes in. And it's none other than Tambourine. And he's weathered, and he's older. And Piccolo learns that Tambourine got stronger over the years, as his father's demon spawns did. So basically, the reason that Tambourine is able to be there is because Tambourine, again, because it's a demon realm sort of thing, he was killed and he was sent back there. Because he's not a Namekian, and he technically wasn't ever really a living thing, other than the fact that the idea that the Pokepen just kind of moved him from the demon realm into the current realm. Does that make sense? It was like an egg transportation, or whatever you want. It's like an egg train, and it just happened to flow through King Piccolo. But anyway, so he's back, he's weathered and older. Piccolo learns that as he got stronger over the years, his father's demon spawns did also. And Tambourine then, of course, looks at Piccolo and refers to him as a brother, because, you know, they've both been spat up by eggs. Tambourine reveals that whilst he was in the demon realm, he merged with Drum and Cymbal. And because he's continued to grow in strength as current Piccolo has done, they're all pretty much a similar level. And if anything, Tambourine is now quite a lot stronger than Piccolo. So I'm trying to give him a reasonable power boost, but without making it too predictable. It's not like just like, oh, I just trained for ages, or I made a wish on the Dragon Balls and now my muscles are really big. It's not like that. It's just supposed to be that he's kind of grown alongside Piccolo, because that was almost like his demon realm mirror. So hard to explain. I've struggled in writing this, to be honest. But
no, I get it, and I assume, you can correct me, I assume like Goku and Vegeta aren't going to really play much of a factor in this.
No, I'm kind of rolling with it more so for the other guys to have like a little bit of a spot, because, you know, in the copy Vegeta arc, Goku didn't really come in until the last minute, and most of it was Goten and Trunks and Vegeta, and that's kind of the way I wanted this to go. I wanted some of the warriors to be there, and I want like Goku and everybody to be there, but Goku doesn't always have to be the one that saves the day, that figures everything out. It doesn't really have to go like that at all. So anyway, Piccolo isn't fazed by the revelations and prepares to fight. Tambourine then reveals a beaten body of Baba behind him.
Ooh.
Yeah, that's something you didn't see coming.
That's a bit mean.
Yeah.
Oh my god. Like,
there is a reason.
A little much. She's a little old lady. Oh my god.
Yeah, but she's feisty and she's sassy though.
Is her crystal ball cracked on the ground?
Well, Piccolo's looking confused, but then he notices that Suru Senin has got Baba's crystal ball.
Oh, okay.
Holding yet another book, The Idiot's Guide to Crystal Balls. Crane Hermit begins casting spells that make Tambourine stronger and hinder Piccolo, such as his speed, putting mind tricks on him and the sort of that. So
Mm-hmm.
rather than again it having like a power boost kind of thing, it's more so that they're just kind of the Crane Hermit's going to start trying to um, like stop Piccolo in his tracks and let Tambourine batter people. The warriors attempt to aid Piccolo. They sense he's in trouble. They zoom over there, but Tambourine brings his demons to get in their way. So he starts like ordering all of his demons to attack them all. And Roshi attempts to try and help Baba, and he wants to try and reason with Crane Hermit because it seems rather out of character. Because Crane Hermit, he was a bastard, but was he really ever bent on world genocide and all this kind of stuff? No, probably not.
No.
No, in fact, I think they even state at one point in Dragon Ball that Crane Hermit he's a bit of a twat, but he's not stupid enough to bring death upon everybody. That's why they sort of gives him an excuse to say that he probably wasn't responsible for bringing Piccolo back. So Roshi attempts to try and help Baba and reason with the Crane Hermit, but he wants nothing to do with Roshi. He won't even look at him. He's so disgusted and so embarrassed by what Roshi did to him when he fired him away with that Kamehameha before. Ten Shinhan tries to reason with Suru Senin, but he only aggravates him further, seeing a former pupil of his having switched allegiances so devotedly. Because, of course, like, Ten Shinhan's going to die for Master Roshi now. Like, we know that he'd be prepared to do that because he was prepared to do it in Dragon Ball. Like, literally 5 minutes after sort of going, you know what? You're right. My master was wrong. They go into that sort of grassy area. Master Roshi's getting ready to fight Piccolo, and Ten Shinhan's just there, paralyzed on the ground, going, "No, I want to use the mafuba. Let it be me."
Yes.
So
and also like just Ten Shinhan's ready and willing to die for like literally any cause. He's just like, I don't want to be useless, and and it sucks too because he's such an awesome character and he hasn't been super useful for a long time.
Well, unfortunately,
turn him into power.
Unfortunately, he's not going to be much more useful here either.
Yeah.
But,
okay. Well,
but
you gotta be consistent. This isn't fan fiction.
Of course, I've got to stick to the standard writing tropes. However, here's a curveball. So, because they see Crane Hermit using the crystal ball to try and help their demons and Tambourine, Ten Shinhan calls over Chaozu. Now, Crane Hermit obviously hates Chaozu even more than he hates Ten Shinhan. But Chaozu starts freezing the demons that are fighting Goku and all their other friends. He starts trying to do it one by one, trying to help slow them all down and stuff. And Goku manages to squeeze his way and get to Piccolo. And here's where you have a really cool, iconic moment with Goku and Tambourine having a stare down. Tambourine glances over at Krillin, and Goku gets even angrier because he can see that Tambourine's looking at Krillin, and it's just bringing back all these memories. And, there's one thing, of course, because Goku and Frieza have kind of... It's kind of like they don't really hate each other as much as they maybe once did. I mean, they've tolerated enough to stand by each other and fight with each other.
Yeah, and well, you can also have another one of those things they did in Super. I think they added this in Super. It wasn't in Fukkatsu no F, the movie, where Krillin has that PTSD moment.
Yes.
With Frieza and everything, and it's like, oh, that's kind of a nice callback. Like, Krillin's done a whole lot, and Master Roshi even has such a great line. He's like, you've done so much. Like, you've survived and done so much. Like, who cares about Frieza and all this? When you've looked down, you fought in Cell and the Cell Juniors, Boo, all this other stuff, right? And it's just like, yeah. Like,
but then
Krillin's gone through a lot.
But then a couple of arcs later, they had the bit when Krillin was training with Goku in the forest, and he starts having PTSD, looking at all of those old villains and stuff. And Tambourine was one of them.
Yeah, he was. It's always a nice throwback, but no, I know where you're going with, and if you have a Goku versus Tambourine fight, you're gonna have to use that or recreate that shot where he elbows him in the face.
Yes, yeah, of course. Well, I haven't actually. I'm gonna really upset you now, but I haven't actually written to the very end of this arc. But
come on, you can't do that. You gotta tell me how it ends.
But the idea is that it's kind of. I'm gonna leave it in a sense where you can kind of see where they're going with it, but it's just not gonna be right up to the climax. So we're gonna view this like Toyotaro puts out his manga chapters. I'm gonna put this right there, and you're gonna get to like a cliffhanger. And you're gonna be like, no. Goku starts charging down at Tambourine. Tambourine's not really doing very well because, of course, Goku's just kind of toying with him at this point because Goku's like leagues above him. And but the Crane Hermit starts trying to cast as many spells as possible, and smoke starts coming out the crystal ball, and he starts trying to blow it out. And he's like, "What's going on?" And then he gets just fed up, and he starts ordering the demons to kill Chaozu because he's ruining it and getting in the way. And here's a twist: Vegeta then interferes and saves Chaozu. So Vegeta turns up for the first time. He hasn't seen him through the rest of the arc, but he turns up and he saves Chaozu at the last minute. Why? I have no idea.
Why? Because this works through Dragon Ball Z movie rules.
you notice the trope I was going for.
Yeah, like Vegeta just shows up out of nowhere when he's most needed.
None quite as dumbfoundedly as in the Return of Cooler movie. You know, the Metal Cooler one.
Yeah, that
he
makes
just
no
turns
sense.
up on Namek.
I was like, how did you get to Namek? Like,
nobody asks.
So Vegeta's there. He's popped up.
Yep.
Any more that you have, or is that just the big cliffhanger?
No, that's not the big cliffhanger.
Okay.
Crane Hermit realizes at this point that it's kind of futile because I think he can kind of see from the damage that Vegeta's doing. Vegeta just turns up and he starts cleaning house of all the demons. Like, he's pissed off. They've interrupted his day off. You know, he'd just come back from taking Bulma and Trunks or something to, you know, I don't know, maybe it's another roller coaster land or something. And he's come back and he's like, everybody was all nice and happy. I've been shopping with Bulla and Bulma, and I've bought a load of new baby stuff, and you just come here and you start ripping everything apart. I was going to go to a shop, but the demons have destroyed that shop. That sucks. That sucks. Where am I supposed to get nappies from now? You know? And so the Crane Hermit, seeing all this damage and debauchery, decides to cast a barrier over himself, and he casts one over Tambourine as well, and they kind of meet back up, and then they float up into the air and they retreat, and they vanish using the crystal ball. And they don't. It doesn't explain. I say it doesn't explain. I didn't explain. I haven't explained why they haven't chased after them or whatever. But I'm gonna
that is a classic. That's a classic move for someone who's already planning a part 2. I'll say something and I'll come up with it later.
That's exactly. Well, I'm trying to do this in the mind of Toriyama and Toei. I had to get in. I had to get into their shoes. You know, maybe Crane Hermits is just so insignificant that they can't sense it, and Tambourine, because he's from the demon realm, you can't sense demons' energy, or something like that, saying you couldn't sense God.
That's good enough. That's good enough for me.
Yeah, I mean, they didn't know that Deborah was on Earth when they were in the Majin Buu arc somehow. That somehow just slipped them by. I never thought about
who
that.
has like this guy who has cell-like energy.
Yeah, and now Tambourine is gone. And he's the Demon King, and Suru Senin has gone with him, and Suru Senin's just not helping anybody. He's just making everything worse. It's his fault, but of course, they don't really know that yet, but they know that he's with them for whatever reason. And so they're trying to think of the best way to do it, but the only thing that they can sort of think in their head is that the only move that could really help them in this would be the mafuba, because he can put some of these demons away. But they can't obviously do it one by one, because otherwise it would take forever. And if I know in Dragon Ball Super it kind of stopped killing people, which kind of I know
because they use it twice, and like they use it twice, don't they? Like one after Roshi does.
Yeah. Oh God, Roshi does it in the Tournament of Power.
Twice.
Twice.
Or tries to. I can't remember if he was. I don't think he was successful both times.
Yeah, he tried to twice. You're right. I think he caught Frost in it the first time. And then Frost was like, I'm not falling for that again. And then tried to turn it on Vegeta.
Yeah.
Something like that. And then obviously you had earlier on in the Zamasu arc, you had Goku trying to use it. And then you had Trunks trying to use it. Well, then Goku was training you with it for ages.
You have YouTube instructional videos and anyone could use it.
And Piccolo obviously doing it. Piccolo learned it and he didn't die, so...
But yeah, it's just stopped killing people.
But because it's kind of stopped killing people, I decided that what Bulma's going to do to be useful in this arc is she goes back and starts studying the video of Piccolo doing the mafuba. Right? She goes back and she studies it, she watches it over and over again, and then she asks Vegeta to come with her, and Vegeta is trying to explain to her how energy works. And she uses that knowledge that Vegeta has. She uses the knowledge of the technique that Piccolo now has and Roshi has, and she tries to use it and turns it into a gun. And they can use the mafuba like a net sort of thing to catch these demons in. And do you remember at the very beginning of this when I said it was going to be like Ghostbusters?
It is Ghostbusters.
But basically, the idea is that it puts them in a little hoi poi capsule or a diner capsule when Bulma's gun like catches them. So it puts them in a little capsule, and that's pretty much where we've got the cutoff point in my script. So how it's going to go from here, that's it's yet to be seen. I've got ideas of where I want it to go, but yeah, that's my idea of this mini little fun arc anyway.
Any arc where you get to focus on other characters besides Goku and every and Vegeta really, they can have moments, but anyone that focuses outside of them is really fun. Like the Patafu arc in Dragon Ball Super is really fun because you did get a little bit of time with Goten and Trunks, and then you also got what I'm partial for the hit stuff, even though that was kind of Goku centric.
Yeah.
And that I really like the idea of doing something that would call back all of this stuff from Dragon Ball and even some stuff in Dragon Ball Z. Exploring the demon realm is always a really fun concept. The only problem is that I feel like the demon realm and everything with that storyline can be and should at some point be an entire arc in Dragon Ball because it has not been explored.
Yeah, you're quite right, but that's why I kind of just wanted to do a little one on it, just for like to wet the platter, to get the taste buds ready for more. And all
yeah, of course, and really what it is that to me is if they're never gonna do it, then you should do it in something like this. It's kind of throwaway and nice. It reminds me a lot, and this sounds like a criticism, but it's not. It does remind me a lot, and it feels like it should have the same feeling as the Garlic Jr. filler arc.
Yeah.
Not because I mean that's a bad arc. But it's interesting. Like the way that played out. Goku wasn't there to help anyone or save anything. You got to focus on Krillin and Gohan and Piccolo and Kami and Popo and all these other people. Like that's why when I rewatched a couple years ago, I rewatched all of Dragon Ball, and it's why I didn't just completely skip that arc, because you get some really great moments there with a lot of people that you wouldn't otherwise expect. And Dragon Ball Super has that feeling where these characters are given a little bit more spotlight. There's a lot of character-centric episodes in Dragon Ball as filler, and it was one of the nicer things about it, and I feel like that's one of the reasons I feel like that series is not only good, but it's also rewatchable.
Yeah, no, I completely agree.
And if Toriyama's not going to do anything with Dragon Ball, if they're not bringing it back without him, then just do this stuff. Like, hell, do like 50, 100 episodes or something where it's non-consequential stories like this.
Yeah. Well, there you go, guys. You've heard it. We'd love you to go and check out the KRW Network. Cheers for stopping by. Let us know your thoughts and comments in the comment section down below. Tell me any arcs, ideas that you've got and you want to see us discuss. I might even pull up a little script for it if I like it enough. And then we can discuss it like this.
Yeah, always.
All right then, guys. We'll see you later. Thanks for listening. Bye!